What's up guys, Ben from Living Survival. Today we're going to be taking a look at the ThruNite TC10. This is their brand new and only USB rechargeable flashlight, so stick with me. Alright guys, so we got the TC10 today. Now wait a minute, let's back up a second. Alright, so let's back up a second. ThruNite, what do you mean ThruNite? Yeah, I know. I've held off on doing ThruNite reviews. You guys that have been following me for a while know that I'm a fairly big Phoenix and Olight fan, but there's definitely other options out there, and I stayed away from doing the ThruNite reviews because, quite frankly, everyone does ThruNite reviews. But I was able to get my hands on some of their newer product, and I thought I would do a few more flashlight reviews because that is what you guys have been asking for. And the ThruNite is a decent product at a lower cost than the Phoenix and the Olight. Now, does that mean it's just as good a quality? Well, we'll take a look. There's definitely some pros and cons. That being said, guys, flashlight reviews are pretty difficult to do. I mean, I can show you the light, I can show you the features, and I can show you, some night footage and things like that. We can do some cool tests and things like that, and that's pretty much what I'm going to stick to. I don't have any fancy equipment, and most YouTube reviewers don't. So there's really no way for me to say, oh, it has, definitely this many lumens or this many lumens. Really, all I can base it on is my experience with flashlights that I've owned, and I have owned quite a few. So hopefully that translates into a quality review for you that you can trust and base your buying decisions off of. So let's take a closer look at the ThruNite TC10. So let's start right out with the packaging, because I do think that they package these nice. It's nice to see an actual package or a box rather than a blister pack, something that's a struggle to get open. So it is nice to see that they are using good packaging. This is the ThruNite TC10. And the CW stands for cool white. You do have the option on some of their lights to get cool white or neutral white. So opening up the box here, you can see again it's nicely packaged in there. Pull the light out, comes with the light itself, pocket clip, mode button, does have a tail switch. Again, I'm going to be very picky and choosy which lights I review. I don't want to just throw a whole bunch of lights out there and review them. I want to actually show you guys the lights that I would use. So that's why I decided to throw a couple ThruNite lights in the mix. Comes with the USB cable. We're going to get back to that in a second. And then also comes with a nice sheath or holster with belt loop. It is a Velcro belt loop, so that's nice. And then they also come with an extra tail cap, O-ring, and lanyard. Seems like it'll hold up pretty well. And for those of you that use sheaths, I think it'll work well. So taking a look again at the light itself, it does have an aircraft aluminum body, which is pretty typical of tactical flashlights. It has a stainless steel bezel that is titanium coated. It is a strike bezel, so you could use this in self-defense. Hitting somebody on the face with that wouldn't feel very good. It does have a few features built in, such as their ITC, or their intelligent temp control, so it's not going to overheat on you. It also has the overcharge protection, so since you can charge it with the battery built right in, it does have overcharge protection. It does have some nice knurling here, and then on down to the pocket clip, which you can take off if you were going to weapon mount this. You can also take off this ring if you were going to weapon mount it. And then also it has the slot for the lanyard and a nice rubberized tail cap. Now the tail cap, you can momentarily push that to press it about halfway, so you don't have to have the click sound. So that's pretty nice, especially for maintaining a tactical advantage. This light will tail stand, although it's not the most stable tail stand, but it will headstand, and also has the ridges in the side and on the side of the bezel here, which allow it to not roll. So it does have memory, so it's going to come back on to the mode that you set it on. It does have a firefly or a moonlight mode, then a low, medium, and high, plus strobe. So no turbo on this one, just a low, medium, and high, plus your strobe. The high pumps out the 900 lumens, then you go down to the medium at 227 lumens, and then down to the low at 12 lumens. It does take one 18650. Just have a Nitecore 18650 in there. So you can charge this thing up two ways. You can pull the battery and charge it just like all your other 18650 lights, or it does have the capability of plugging in a USB. Now let's talk about this for a second. When I first got this light, I went to remove this and it popped all the way off. So fairly big oversight there. It's not broken or anything. It's just the way it goes in there. It just doesn't attach very well. So the biggest complaint I have with that is that you're going to lose this rubberized piece right off the bat. Now the whole point of having a rubberized piece on there, I can't even get it back in now, but the whole point of having that rubberized piece in there is to make it more water resistant or waterproof, and also dust proof, so you don't get any water or dust in your input there. Talking about the input, I really wish they would have used micro USB like the Phoenix lights have and some of the Nitecore lights. I think it's just silly to use their own adapter, even though the other end will plug right into USB. It just means you got to carry one more cord. And for like a Samsung cell phone user like I am, I generally like to have all my cords be micro USB. That way I can use the same cord whether I'm going to charge this from a solar panel, an external battery, or my computer. I can just carry around one micro USB cord with me and not have to have a whole bunch of cords. So that's definitely one of the drawbacks there of having the USB. So I mean, it's cool that they are starting to do USB, but I think it can definitely be improved upon. A better cover that stays on, and also switch it up to micro USB as far as the input there goes. It does have several modes. When you're charging it, this light will go from purple to blue to red and kind of give you a status there on your charging. It is waterproof up to 1.5 meters, or the IPX-8 that is found in similar flashlights. So very easy to operate. The front switch isn't going to do you any good until you turn the light on. With the tail cap, again, you can press it halfway down for momentary. It is going to remember where it last was, or you can depress it fully to leave the light on. Then the mode selector up here will go between your three modes: your low, medium, and high, and your Firefly, which you can see there. It is on Firefly, so it actually will cycle through Firefly, low, medium, high, and then to get to your strobe, you just hold it down and that will get to your strobe. Now it won't do off and then back on to strobe, but it will do off and back on to any other mode. So if I put it on the medium mode there, or let's switch it to the low mode, and I turn it off and turn it back on, it'll come right back into that low mode. So very basic operation. I do like the mode buttons that are found on Phoenix and Olight and this particular ThruNite. I don't like the twist mode flashlights. That's another reason why I stayed away from some of the other ThruNites. Again, with flashlights, I'm going to start reviewing them, but I'm going to be picky and choosy of what I choose to show you guys and what I think I would carry in my kits. So one of the ways that I test my flashlights out is I freeze them in a block of ice. This tells me several things. It tells me, one, if the flashlight can handle the extreme temperature. Obviously it has to be waterproof because I have to put it in the water to begin with before I freeze it. And then I'll throw it against something to break it, so we'll give it a little bit of a shock test. So it's a pretty good test to me to test the durability and functionality of a flashlight. Of course, like I said earlier, I don't have any of the fancy, machinery or electronics to be able to test, actual lumen output and everything like that. I can only go with what my eyes tell me, and again, bring you the lights that I think are of quality to review on my channel. So we've got the TC10 here, and I also leave them on. I freeze them for 24 hours and leave the light on. Now the light is off, but I think the reason for that is that it just changed modes. You can see it's actually set to the strobe mode, and sometimes that happens with these flashlights that have the mode selector on the side. As it freezes, it'll press down that button. So it is still functioning. So the battery and the light itself is still functioning, but I'll have to break it out of here, obviously, to see if we have a fully functional flashlight, make sure nothing's broken and things like that. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and drop it on the concrete and then hopefully be able to break it out of here. Definitely frozen solid in this chunk of ice. All right, there we go. So still got a layer of ice on the over the screen there, but the button is released now. So let's go ahead and let's test the functionality of it. Let's go ahead and turn it on. And it is, if you can see in there, it is actually in the moonlight mode. And then we've got the low, medium, and high, and then our strobe mode. So moonlight or firefly, low, medium, high, and then our strobe. Then of course our tail switch turns it on and off with the memory. The port looks intact. We're going to take it inside and we'll give it a charge test, but so far so good. It definitely held up through those tests just fine. I don't think I cracked the lens there, but I'll put it under some warm water and we'll find out. So I got it rinsed off and I got it connected back up to the charger, and you can see that it does seem to be charging just fine. The only thing I noticed is that there is a little bit, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it here, but there's a little bit of haziness in the lens there, and it's on the inside of the lens. If I turn it on here, I don't know if you can kind of see it there. Not really sure what that's from. It's got to be from it freezing somehow. Maybe condensation got in there and there was dust or something in the lens and it dirtied up the inside of the lens. So I'm not really sure if I'm going to be able to clean that out or not, but definitely pretty weird. Alright guys, so I'm out here and you can see this light's plenty bright. That's on the high setting. This of course is the moonlight mode. Then you've got low, which you can barely see on the trees over there, medium, and then your high mode, then of course strobe. And back to high. So it definitely lights up the yard quite well. Again, we got the moonlight, which you can see on the snow there, low, medium, and high. So it does have a couple of flashing modes on the mode selector. Flashing red means it's getting low on battery, so that's what it's telling me right now. If it's solid red, it means it's really low. Blue solid means it's fully charged, and purple flashing means it's charging. So I can switch the mode here back into like low, and it's even flashing on low now. The only one it's not flashing on is the moonlight mode. So pretty cool that it'll tell you based on your mode if you need to charge it or not. Alright guys, so there is my test on the ThruNite TC10. It definitely held up through some of my testing. I think I'm going to use that testing from now on, bring you guys something a little bit different than just a tabletop review. Putting it in the water, like I said, it has to be waterproof to go in there, and then of course freezing it exposes it to those extreme temps, and then dropping it on the concrete to break it out of there is definitely a good durability test. So for me, if it can pass that test you know, to me it's going to hold up in many different environments and be a good light that you can count on. So I hope you like that. I'm going to use that same test for future flashlights that I bring to you guys. Hope you guys liked this video. Give it a thumbs up. Leave me some comments below. And as always, guys, share this and subscribe for more videos.